The murder of child pageant star JonBenét Ramsey has perplexed the world for more than a quarter of a century, with US investigators saying it still haunts them.
For nearly 3 decades, the mysterious murder of 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey has haunted America. Her tragic death in 1996 shocked the world, a young beauty queen found dead in her own home on Christmas night. Over the years, endless theories, suspects, and accusations have kept the case alive, but no real answers ever came. Until now. After 28 long years, shocking new information has surfaced that finally solves the mystery. But the truth is far from comforting. In fact, it's deeply disturbing. What really happened to JonBenét Ramsey? Who was responsible? The answers may change everything we thought we knew. JonBenét's mysterious death. As the 28th anniversary of JonBenét Ramsey's death draws near, reports have it that law enforcement officials have shared new updates on the long unsolved case. According to sources, the possibility of a major breakthrough has led to renewed discussions among investigators, forensic experts, and the general public, who are once again hopeful that the mystery behind the crime might finally be solved. Now, the question is, could this finally be the moment when long-awaited answers come to light? To understand how things got to this point, and why this case still troubles so many, we need to look back at how it all started. Brace up, because this is only the beginning of what is about to be revealed. According to reports, JonBenét Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, to John and Patricia Ramsey. Sources said the young girl quickly gained attention in local beauty pageants during her short life. It was reported that her mother, Patricia, had also competed in pageants and was crowned Miss West Virginia in 1977 when she was 20 years old. Many believed that JonBenét followed in her mother's footsteps by winning titles such as America's Royal Miss, Colorado State All-Star Kids Cover Girl, Little Miss Colorado, and National Tiny Miss Beauty. On the morning of December 26, 1996, at around 5:52 a.m., police were called to the Ramsey home in Boulder, Colorado, after reports of a missing child. According to authorities, Patricia made the 911 call and claimed to have found a ransom note on the staircase. The note was reportedly 2.5 pages long, demanded $118,000 for JonBenét's safe return, and claimed the kidnapping was done by a small foreign faction. It ended with the phrase, "Victory. SBTC." Police began to search the house. According to accounts, Officer Rick French checked the basement for a possible escape route, but found a locked door secured with a wooden latch. Believing it wasn't likely to be used for entry or exit, he didn't open it. Since investigators thought it was a kidnapping, only JonBenét's bedroom was sealed to preserve evidence. Reports later criticized this decision, saying the rest of the house was left open, allowing family members and officials to unknowingly disturb potential evidence. Later that day, Detective Linda Arndt reportedly asked John Ramsey and his friend Fleet White to search the home again for anything unusual. Sources said they went into the basement and opened the same locked door Officer French had ignored earlier. Behind it, they discovered JonBenét's body wrapped in a white blanket. Reports stated she had duct tape over her mouth and nylon cords around her neck and wrists. It was reported that John, in a state of shock and grief, picked up his daughter's body and carried her upstairs. According to investigators, this act, although understandable, may have damaged key physical and forensic evidence from the crime scene. After JonBenét's tragic death, reports suggested that some people accused her parents, especially Patricia, of being controlling stage parents who were living through their daughter's achievements. However, John Ramsey told people in a 2024 interview that such claims were completely false. He reportedly said JonBenet loved doing that stuff. He added that Patricia had just survived stage 4 ovarian cancer at the time and was simply thankful to be alive. According to him, she was trying to make the most of her time with her daughter, knowing her health could worsen again. As emotions ran high and public suspicion grew, investigators began their search for answers. But from the very start, there were concerns, not only about the strange circumstances surrounding JonBenet's death, but also about how the investigation was carried out. The real question now is, could early missteps by the police have cost them the chance to solve the case from the very beginning? And what did they discover? Keep watching. There's more to this story that you don't want to miss. Speculations and initial investigations. According to reports, investigation into JonBenét Ramsey's death initially centered on her parents, John and Patricia Ramsey. They were later reportedly cleared by authorities of involvement, though public suspicion persisted for years. In 2008, law enforcement formally exonerated the Ramsey family, after new DNA evidence emerged. The case was subsequently reopened in 2009 and has remained active since. In 2023, officials reportedly launched a thorough cold case review. This initiative included re-interviewing witnesses, exploring previously overlooked leads, and implementing modern forensic technologies. Law enforcement sources revealed that this renewed effort had led to the discovery of new information, fueling cautious optimism among investigators. By 2024, reports indicated renewed progress in the investigation. Sources claimed that investigators were pursuing new leads, though they withheld specific details due to the sensitive nature of the case. According to recent updates, the Boulder Police Department had made significant strides in the investigation as of 2024. Investigators were believed to be increasingly optimistic about solving the case. It was reported that advanced DNA testing methods had been applied to crime scene evidence, which produced encouraging results, although the specifics were not disclosed. Authorities also indicated that the FBI had remained involved, assisting in the re-examination of case files and providing expertise in analyzing critical evidence, which includes the ransom note. It was also reported that the Ramsey family had been kept informed of recent developments and continued to cooperate fully with authorities in their pursuit of justice for JonBenet. According to recent reports, advanced DNA technology has brought new hope to several cold cases, including the JonBenét Ramsey investigation. Experts stated that improved techniques can now extract useful DNA profiles from even small or damaged samples. Sources said that these modern methods have made it possible to re-examine old pieces of evidence that had previously offered no clear results. In the case of JonBenét Ramsey, investigators reportedly used these new tools in hopes of finding fresh clues that could finally solve the murder that occurred in 1996. It was reported that the ransom note found in the Ramsey home remains one of the most important pieces of evidence in the case. According to experts, its nearly 3-page length is highly unusual for a typical kidnapping letter. Handwriting analysis, however, has reportedly been inconclusive. Analysts have not been able to match the writing to any specific suspect or family member. The content of the note has also raised suspicions. According to investigators, it referenced the exact amount of a recent bonus received by John Ramsey, which suggested that the writer may have had inside knowledge of the family's financial details. Linguistic experts also claimed that the language in the note showed signs of being written by someone educated and familiar with business terminology, despite its use of crude expressions. This contrast has led some to question the writer's true intentions. Investigators also found it unusual that the note was left inside the home, as most kidnappers avoid spending too much time at a victim's residence. Additionally, the paper and pen used were traced back to items already inside the Ramsey house, leading some experts to doubt whether it was a genuine ransom demand. According to forensic reports, no fingerprints were found on the note, despite its length. This level of caution seemed odd to investigators, who pointed out that a person careful enough to avoid leaving prints would likely avoid leaving a detailed note behind as well. It was also stated that behavioral analysts were reviewing witness statements and suspect profiles using modern psychological methods. Authorities hoped that this fresh perspective would bring out important details that may have been missed earlier. According to sources, interviews were ongoing with persons of interest, which includes individuals close to the Ramsey family. Investigators were said to be using new questioning techniques in an effort to gather more information. Finally, officials reported that public tips submitted through hotlines and online platforms were being carefully reviewed. Detectives emphasized that all leads from the public were being taken seriously in the continuing search for the truth. As investigators pressed forward with renewed efforts, a troubling development came to light, one that cast an even darker shadow over JonBenet's already heartbreaking case. Far from bringing relief, the revelation stirred fresh outrage, sorrow, and debate across the nation. But what exactly was uncovered? And why has it left so many people even more disturbed than before? The next revelation will keep you on the edge of your seat: JonBenet's death report and media reactions. It was revealed that JonBenet had suffered a fractured skull, and a garrote had been tied tightly around her neck. The autopsy report later revealed that the cause of death was asphyxia by strangulation, associated with craniocerebral trauma. Her death was officially ruled a homicide. Reports said the case drew massive public and media attention, partly because JonBenet's mother, Patricia Ramsey, a former beauty queen herself, had entered her daughter in several child beauty pageants. A new district attorney reportedly took over the case from the Boulder police and focused mainly on the theory that someone had broken into the house and killed JonBenet. It was reported that trace DNA taken from JonBenet's clothing belonged to an unknown male, and it was confirmed that none of the family members matched that DNA. Because of this, in 2008, the district attorney sent a letter to the Ramseys. He apologized and officially cleared them of any involvement. Former Boulder Police Chief Mark Beckner said in a 2015 interview that he believed the person who left the unknown DNA was the real killer, but the district attorney determined that there was insufficient evidence to pursue a successful indictment. However, in 2009, reports said that the Boulder police took back the case from the district attorney and reopened the investigation. As of 2024, almost 30 years later, the JonBenét Ramsey case was still attracting widespread public attention. News outlets like ABC News continued to report on the progress of the case. True crime fans were said to still follow the case closely, discussing updates and theories online. It was noted that many people believed modern DNA testing might finally solve the mystery, while others expressed frustration that the case remained unsolved. Online forums and social media discussions remained active, with people analyzing the evidence and sharing opinions. The media coverage, according to reports, had never fully faded. Any possible update or new finding was said to quickly go viral. Documentaries and podcasts about the case had become increasingly popular. These shows often included interviews with important people involved in the case, such as JonBenet's father, detectives, and journalists. Finally, it was reported that the Boulder Police Department had stepped up its communication with the public. They had even released new video messages to address concerns and reassure people that they were still working hard to solve the case. It was reported that both national and international media had focused heavily on JonBenet's short beauty pageant career, her family's wealth, and the strange evidence surrounding the case. Reports stated that there had even been suggestions of possible sexual abuse, which attracted further attention. The media was also said to have questioned the way the police had handled the investigation and went as far as accusing different members of the Ramsey family. According to sources, some members of the Ramsey family, along with close friends, had filed defamation lawsuits against several media outlets over the years. It was also reported that the crime was still classified as a cold case and remained under active investigation by the Boulder Police Department. Officials had stated that updates on the case were being published each year on the department's official website. Despite the years of speculation, shifting theories, and intense media scrutiny, the case continued to frustrate both investigators and the public. However, in recent times, John Ramsey, who happened to be the father of JonBenet and a new Netflix documentary, has reportedly brought fresh attention to the circumstances surrounding the death of JonBenet. This has reportedly prompted a renewed reaction from the police as regards the alleged truth that has been revealed so far. Now, the real question is, are we truly seeing a renewed effort from the police? And will they ever be able to bring the murderer to book? Hold on, because the best part is coming up. Recent developments on JonBenet's death. For the first time in nearly 30 years, John Ramsey, the father of JonBenét Ramsey, reportedly said he felt confident in the current leadership handling the investigation into his daughter's 1996 murder. According to CNN, Ramsey met with local law enforcement to push for a detailed review and new testing of the crime scene evidence. He was said to have asked Boulder police to increase DNA testing using genetic genealogy, a newer method that has reportedly helped solve other cold cases. After the meeting, Ramsey told CNN that he was satisfied and impressed with the leadership now in place at the Boulder Police Department. He believed they were truly committed to doing everything possible with the latest technology and resources to find the killer, and said that was all the family could ask for. Ramsey also reportedly said he believed the investigators were continuing to move the case forward and that DNA remained a powerful tool that could very likely identify the killer. A police spokesperson confirmed to CNN that Chief Redfern and other officers had met with the family to share updates, just as they had in the past. However, they explained they couldn't answer specific questions, since the case was still active. In an interview with CNN's Jean Caceres, Ramsey talked about his long fight to get justice and said he strongly supported using genetic genealogy. He reportedly described it as the key to solving the case and insisted that the police must use it. He felt it would be absurd not to. Ramsey also stated that he had never seen any of the crime scene evidence himself. He claimed that for years the police had treated him and his family as the main suspects right from the beginning. He said that even now, nearly 30 years later, no one has been charged with the murder. Ramsey alleged that several important pieces of evidence had still never been tested. He warned that the real killer might still be out there, whether alive, dead, or even in prison. And if that person had hurt other children, then the Boulder police would bear some responsibility for ignoring that possibility. Ramsey expressed hope that continued media coverage might encourage someone to come forward with new information. He said he wouldn't be angry, even if the person had waited nearly 30 years to speak up. He asked the public for help, stating he wasn't looking for revenge. He just wanted answers. He encouraged anyone with useful information to call the police. He said he wouldn't hold it against anyone, even if the person they knew was a friend or relative. All he asked was for help in finding the truth and bringing the case to a close, not just for the family, but for humanity and the country. Amid the renewed interest in the JonBenét Ramsey case, which was partly sparked by a new Netflix documentary, Boulder, Colorado police were reported to have rejected claims that they were ignoring valuable evidence and leads in the investigation of the 6-year-old girl's 1996 murder. According to reports, the police made these comments during their annual update on the case, which was released a month earlier than usual. Officials reported the early release was due to the increased attention the case had received, likely referring to the Netflix docuseries titled Cold Case: Who Killed JonBenét Ramsey? In a video message, Boulder Police Chief Steve Redfern was reported to have welcomed news coverage and documentaries about the case. He noted that they could help generate new leads. He reportedly said the department was still committed to solving the case but had to be cautious about what details they shared in order to protect any future legal action. He also stated that the police had thoroughly investigated several people as suspects over the years and remained open-minded while continuing to follow up on tips that detectives received. The Netflix documentary was said to have focused on the early mistakes made by the police and the intense media attention that turned the case into a so-called media circus. However, JonBenét's story remains a cautionary tale, reminding society of the importance of protecting children's innocence and well-being. Her legacy extends beyond pageants, touching on broader issues of child welfare and safety. What do you think about the murder of JonBenét Ramsey? And do you think the mystery would eventually be solved? Do share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the following video showing. Thank you.